And we agree, we see a lot of changes going on in Long Beach, and Long Beach is no longer a secret. Investors are already here, and
secret's out of the bag.
Welcome to Multifamily Long Beach, a show dedicated to wealth creation and financial independence through real estate investing. I'm Juan, our president of Sage Real Estate in Long Beach, market leader in 4-unit sales, and your rent control expert. The city of Long Beach is booming. There's lots of economic development, population growth, and employers are coming to Long Beach. Today, we're inside of Long Beach City Hall interviewing Sergio Ramirez, the Deputy Director of Economic and Property Development. His department is responsible for bringing in employment, new jobs, and housing to the city of Long Beach. If you're like most investors, you want to invest when it's in the path of growth, and clearly, the city of Long Beach is booming. Today, Sergio is going to give us insight to the factors that are driving that growth. So let's jump right into it. Here's my interview with Sergio Ramirez. Sergio, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thanks, Juan. Hi, everyone. My name is Sergio Ramirez. I'm the Deputy Director of Economic Development for the City of Long Beach. I oversee property and development here in Long Beach and help businesses and development kind of get through the city's process.
We have several questions to ask you today, and without further ado, let's get into it. Tell us, what are some competitive advantages in investing in Long Beach at this moment?
Well, I think Long Beach has so much going on right now. We have about $5 billion of private investment taking shape in Long Beach in every real estate asset class, everything from residential, commercial, mixed-use development, hospitality, tourism, even sports entertainment. We have development projects taking shape. I think the opportunities for development here in Long Beach are limitless. There's incredible political environment. It's a very stable environment, and I think sometimes investors kind of fail to kind of look at that and kind of what is the government process in a city, and because that actually has to kind of plays a big role. And I think with the leadership of Mayor Garcia, the leadership of the 9 other council members, Long Beach is very stable, and I think has kind of a trajectory to be very stable for a long time. And I think for investors, folks that you work with, that plays a big role. And I think not only the stability of the city, but I think all of the council members and the mayor are very forward-thinking. They're very visionary and want to really kind of take on bold steps. And I think that's really playing out these last couple of years with all the development taking place here in the downtown, but really citywide, there's a lot of investment taking place.
And we agree, we see a lot of changes going on in Long Beach, and Long Beach is no longer a secret. Investors are already here, and
secret's out of the bag.
It sure is. It sure is. What economic indicators do you follow in Long Beach, and what direction are they trending?
Definitely, that's a great question. I think one of the things that we look at are, of course, vacancy rates. We look at also property values. Unemployment is a very important one. And all the indicators are actually very favorable. Our commercial or kind of office vacancy is kind of below now 13%. Retail vacancy, even though we have kind of the Amazon effect, overall citywide, it's about 5 to 6%, which is, very good compared to other cities and kind of what's happening on in that sector. And of course, property values and rents, continue to increase for a long time because Long Beach was such a great, secret. Rents or even property values, properties like, waterfront views, you can buy a condominium here in Long Beach for $500,000. I mean, where in California are you able to identify and purchase that kind of property? And so I think there's been a lot of pent-up demand that's now being filled, but there's still room for growth. Okay. It's funny when you ask me about kind of the indicators that I'm kind of old school in the way that I do things. I love to drive the city and look and to see vacancies, kind of graffiti going downstairs to our building permit and the counter, and looking at the counter and seeing how many people are in line. And we also track, of course, business applications and also building permits, and those have all been kind of increasing year after year.
Right. No, well, we're certainly excited about it. Why is it that developers are choosing to come to Long Beach now?
It's interesting. I think what happened years back with the city, there was a lot of issues with when the political makeup was very different. Also, the safety in the city was not kind of what it is today. We have an incredible police chief Robert Luna, who's really made some incredible changes and really provided a lot of safety, which is, I think, if people do not feel safe, They don't feel safe to live in a community. They don't feel safe to open a business in a community, and they don't. Of course, investors won't feel safe to actually come and invest. Developers have a choice of where to place their capital, as you know.
Right.
And I think being able to have safety, but then in addition, kind of a very business-friendly environment. And that's, I think, what our department and other departments here in the city have tried to create over the years, is a very business-friendly place that is open to investors so that they can place their capital. And we're seeing a lot of great things with that.
Talking about opportunity zones, I know that we have several areas throughout Long Beach that have been designated as opportunity zones. Please tell us what that means.
Definitely, I think we're very excited about the Opportunity Zone program. The city of Long Beach was actually fortunate to receive 19 areas designated as opportunity zones. That translates to about 3,200 acres of the city in opportunity zones. It's a lot. We have several opportunity zone projects already happening here in the downtown, but there's room for more, and we want some more. The city manager has actually authorized us to provide opportunity zone projects priority, so they actually would go to the front of the line to help them streamline the process. So we definitely are open for business for opportunity zones projects, and definitely there's a lot of opportunity here in Long Beach for opportunity zone and opportunity zone projects and investments.
Okay, no, that's amazing. Are there any exciting new companies bringing jobs to Long Beach?
Definitely. I think one of the things that's happening throughout the city, we're seeing a lot of growth here in the downtown. There's quite a new office development and redevelopment that's kind of taking shape. But I think the exciting development that's really, I think for me has me excited, is the development around Long Beach Airport and the development at Douglas Park. Also, the recent sale of the former Boeing property. Okay. That 90-acre site recently sold, being one of the largest real estate transactions last year. That property sold for over, I think, $200 million. But the unique thing that's happening is we're getting a lot of satellite launch companies that are actually locating in that area of Long Beach. And I think that technology and that innovation is drawing a lot of jobs. We have, of course, Virgin Orbit that's located there. But recently we've added Spin Launch, which is a company, a startup that came from the Silicon Valley, relocated to Long Beach. Wow. And pretty soon we're going to be releasing, actually there's going to be a new announcement of another company that's going to be bringing another about 200 jobs. These are all great paying jobs to Long Beach. And I think that this whole aerospace satellite launch technology trend is something there's going to be this hub that's going to be created here in Long Beach. That's
great in terms of jobs and unemployment, but tell us about what the city's doing to combat the housing crisis. So we're bringing in the jobs. What are we doing to bring in housing that's needed?
The housing crisis is a difficult challenge, I think, with housing homelessness. It isn't easy. What happened in 2012, we lost the power of redevelopment, or the redevelopment, which was the state eliminated for local agencies redevelopment, which was an economic development tool that essentially created for cities, provided the power of tax increment, which was in areas that were designated as for redevelopment. Any new investment that happened there, the tax increment that was generated by that investment was poured back into the cities. And that's what cities used to build affordable housing, used to build all the different services that used to provide services for seniors, homeless services, and economic development. When we lost that in 2012, what's happened with the state's actually been now demanding that cities build housing and meet these demands for addressing homelessness, but not really providing the financial resources. And so although we have Sacramento saying, hey, you got to build, I think for Long Beach, they've required this next year, going to require us to build, from our RENA numbers, over 26,000 new housing units.
Oh, wow.
But What happens is that they're not providing us the resources to be able to pay for the infrastructure that's required to be able to rezone properties and be able to take properties like from industrial to residential. The beauty is that here in downtown Long Beach, I think there is the vision for dense urban development. We have now 2 40-story towers that are under construction. So Long Beach isn't shy to density, but it's not true, I think, in all areas of the city. Okay. I think what a lot of cities in our region, like cities like Paramount, Downey, where there isn't kind of a dense development and it's not something that's in a concept that's welcomed, those cities are struggling to be able to meet the housing demands. Here in Long Beach, we're very unique that we're able to provide the density. And we actually have the land use element that was recently kind of being processed by our development services department and should be finalized later this year, that really upzones a lot of the areas in the city to allow for denser development. So you're going to see areas in the midtown of the city and also uptown that you're going to kind of see going a little bit more vertical. And I think continuing to see the downtown plan here in the downtown, the waterfront, go more vertical. I hope to see more kind of taller buildings, and I think that's kind of the opportunity to be more like a San Diego, like a San Francisco, because we have a lot of those features and infrastructure.
Investors call us all the time. Hey, tell us, where are the hot spots? Is it still downtown? Is it closer to 2nd Street? What do you see happening?
Downtown is where it's at, but I think it's not only limited to downtown. Downtown is going to be an urban metropolis, and there's so much opportunity for, as we talked about, vertical development. PD 30, which is the specific plan for downtown, allows by right heights up to 200 stories, and that entitlement process is between 6 months to 9 months to 12 months, depending on the application packet that is submitted. When you look at other cities like Santa Monica, Los Angeles, a similar development would take anywhere from 5 to 10 years to be developed.
Oh, wow.
So we've actually really streamlined the process. And so I think downtown will continue to see that larger multi-million-dollar investment that's taking shape. But I think really there's opportunities throughout the city. The area that I think I'm really excited about is the area that is referred to as the Uptown, which is the area in North Long Beach near Michelle Obama Library. And there we have 3 large retail developments taking shape, one by Frontier Development, another one by Westland Development, and the one that I think I'm most excited about is the one by the Lab Holdings. We sold to them about 50 parcels. Before coming to Long Beach 3 years ago, I previously worked in the city of Anaheim, where I worked on the Anaheim Packing House project. So it's the same developer for the Anaheim Packing House, and they're going to be doing a packing house type development with inline shops. So it's going to be almost like a packing district up in North Long Beach, and coupled with those other 2 developments that are already underway, it's really going to be very dynamic up in North Long Beach. So that's definitely an area too that I think is worth watching. We're
certainly excited about that project and kind of the domino effect that's going to have within that neighborhood. How are multifamily landlords impacted by all the development, such as the residential projects downtown that we're talking about, and also the newest retail project on 2nd and PCH?
Long Beach, like you had mentioned, had been a kind of well-kept secret for landlords, where you're able to buy multifamily property for kind of very, very inexpensive. But real estate prices, of course, and values are increasing with all the new development that's taking place. It's kind of a double-edged sword, as now with kind of increasing rent, the city is looking at rent stabilization or rent control initiatives, and it's hard because I think there's an opportunity for there's a lot of areas that need redevelopment, and there's a lot of properties that need to be repositioned, but it's of course that fine balance of how do you do that without causing or gentrifying of areas and displacement. So I think it's an argument that is going to play out over the next few months and a couple years. But I think being able to have both sides of folks that are pro-development and also advocates for renters. But I think property owners, ensure that when they see an opportunity to kind of remodel their apartments, to also be conscientious, to also put themselves in the shoes of the renters, and making sure that any type of rent increases are gradual, especially households that have limited sources of income, to be able to come up with an additional $1,000 a month for rent. It's difficult to do, but it is kind of the free market kind of acting on its own.
Sergio, so we're inside of the new city hall. Okay, and then we have a new floor dedicated to the building and safety department and all the development. What can we expect for an investor that comes into Long Beach? They're new to Long Beach. They want to do some development. They want to remodel. They want to reposition a property. What can they expect when they come here?
Long Beach is a big city. So when you go to a big city, you sometimes can tend to feel lost. But I think with our new city hall, one of the things that we've tried to do is make sure that people feel welcomed. There's a whole floor dedicated where it's almost like a one-stop shop, where you have everybody from building and safety, public works, planning, for example, if you purchase an 8-unit apartment, or you want to build a multi-story kind of condominium, you would actually, that floor, you would be able to kind of do all your due diligence, process permits, get questions answered without ever having to leave and go to another building or several buildings. Which sometimes when in larger cities you can get kind of lost and you can spend a whole day and not really get anything done. Here, within a couple of maybe hopefully less than an hour, you'd be able to get your answers, your questions answered, and be able to have a clear direction of the roadmap that you're going to need to take. And I think for us in the city and being pro development, being pro investment, what we want to try to do is avoid any ambiguities, folks feeling that they're not sure what the process is going to be. So one of the things that we want to try to do is provide certainty to folks. We may not be able to get them the answers that they want on the spot, but at least we provide them a roadmap and information all in one place so that they are able to make a decision about whether moving forward with an investment or kind of what they'll need to do to be able to remodel an apartment or build a building. Well, it's all provided in our one-stop shop.
Within my firm, we track the market intelligence on 4-unit buildings, okay? And so we looked back and found what the average price was in 2016, which was $867,000, and we checked out where it's selling at now year to date, which is now at $1,150,000. That's the average fourplex price. Okay, so massive increase, big appreciation, 32% to be exact. Looking into 2020, what do we expect for the multifamily market of Long Beach to do?
Well, I think there's going to be continued growth with Long Beach being now, of course, a destination city that folks want to move to and want to live. RealQuest had identified Long Beach as one of the hottest apartment markets in the country. And I think as we add amenities such as like Second and PCH, Long Beach Exchange, and of course all the retail here in downtown, I mean, with the weather, we have the best weather in the country. Even though rent control dialogue continues, I think there's still opportunity for investors to come here and actually be able to take on bets on Long Beach. I definitely would. I think from all the things that are kind of in the hopper and that the city has kind of going for itself, it's a place that I definitely would park my money in, and it's going to only continue. And I think it's almost like a snowball. When a snowball starts, it starts slowly and it's small, but then Long Beach has momentum and it's going to continue.
So to recap, we have jobs coming to Long Beach, we have development going on, we have more investment going on in Long Beach than we've ever had before. And so we're super excited. So for those investors out there that are kind of sitting on the fence on whether to invest,
come to Long Beach.
Sergio, so I wanted to thank you for your time. Thank you for talking to us and letting us know of all the development that's going on, the opportunities that we could expect moving forward here into 2020. And I appreciate what you had to say.